Man, it was crazy Monday. I'm drinking coffee. I'm not
to keep yourself awake.
I'm like, this coffee has a cuss word on it. Coffee mug, but it's a big coffee mug.
Like the coffee says it all for me. I don't have to say a word.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right, so let me go ahead and start this bad boy up. 15 minutes late almost. Let's see. So.
Okay.
All right. Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. It is August 10th. We're starting our meeting off a little bit late because we were all just talking about how Monday, it is definitely what they call a Monday, which we try to make it a happy, magical, heavenly Monday, but today was a little bit of a struggle for all of us. So thanks for hanging in there, everybody. So our guest speaker, she is not able to make it. She works 12-hour shifts in a hospital in New Jersey, and you guys know that, Pennsylvania, sorry. And you know that the East Coast is really bad with COVID right now. And so her person that was supposed to relieve her at her 12 hours decided to call in. So now she's working another 12-hour shift, bless her heart. So she's going to be going live instead, because her schedule is just so, she doesn't know what she's doing from one second to the next. But I'm really excited for you guys to see that, because obviously hearing the schedule that she has, she's still working her business around it. And so I'm excited to hear how she does it. I know some of the things she's been doing, which are amazing. She's brand new to Scentsy as of March. And so her name is Karen Fabio. So definitely take a peek at her live when she goes on. So because we had this planned, I didn't have anything really planned. I asked on the Facebook page of some ideas of what topic we should talk about tonight, since there was nothing really planned. And so a couple of you asked about doing some like time management and money-making activities. So I think that's obviously a wonderful subject that we all need to be focusing on, because if we're not focusing on our time and in effective ways, life just gets sucked out of us and time gets sucked out of us. And before we know it, we don't know where the time went. And that's kind of like what happened today. However, with me personally, I was totally consumed with a Zoom party I'm going to be doing on Thursday, doing party packs and what I failed to do, which is my first suggestion to all of you, is to put several alarms in your phone when you have something to do, when you get really busy with something, whether it's your other job or it's cooking or whatever you're doing. If you know you have a meeting to show up with, to like this one, do several reminders. And I usually have it set as a repeated reminder. But for some reason, I didn't have my phone with me, and so I didn't get that reminder. But anyways, so stuff happens. So I want you to lay that out. Like, is it organized and has specific you are with your time? Sometimes things are just going to happen, like today with pretty much, we all kind of talked about it before this call, that we just had a day, and that's going to happen. And we're going to have to just roll with the punches. However, there are things that we could do in order to be more effective with our time. And some of you, this is going to be a refresher, but I really want you guys to think about, are you utilizing this strategy regularly every single week with your calendar? Ask yourself this. This is something that I do every Sunday night. Sometimes I do it Saturday because I don't like to do any work on Sunday unless I just have a lot. Like I did work last night, because if I didn't, I wouldn't have gotten my party packs out on time for the last mailer for it to get out today. So sometimes you have to, unfortunately work. It's just, God knows that you got to pay the bills, right? So, but if you manage your time wisely and you do things, you take as much, and you get as much done as possible on like a Saturday, you can have your whole Sunday or whatever day you choose to be your totally off Scentsy, radar day, if you choose to have that day. I didn't have one of those for a long time. That's how I built my business. I worked my business every single day. And that's how I built the momentum in order to be able to give myself an entire day to just turn off Scentsy completely. So that's something to look forward to. Okay, so here we start. We're going to be starting with the 4 things that you could be managing your time with every single day with your business, your personal job, your day job, whatever you want to call it, your family, your cleaning, whatever you do, you want to use these. And then we'll move into money making activity once you have your schedule kind of organized. All right. So the 4Ds. This is something that honestly, guys, I started in April of 2011, and I got this training probably in September of 2011, and it changed the face of my business. I was working 12 to 14 hours a day in Scentsy. And once I got this down, I was able to narrow it down to like a normal work week, like 6 to 8 hours a day, with getting just as much done by eliminating all the crap. I'm just going to call it the crap, guys, because that's what it is. Okay. All right. So the first D is to delegate. And this is one of the biggest things that I will tell you that consultants, they literally struggle with this. They've got grown kids. They've got very capable husbands. They've got moms and sisters and best friends and neighbors and people that they could totally utilize to do things that aren't money-making activities for you. Now, really fast when we're on this, because this is so important, money-making activity has to be activity that you personally have to be doing. Now, you can't delegate your, 13 or, 11-year-old or even 18-year-old kid to call your clients, right? Because you're the one with the relationship. They want to hear from you. They don't want to hear from your daughter, your spouse, whatever. Unless your spouse is like right there with your business, they know you as a business team, and they have a relationship with that person. That's something you have to personally do. You have to follow up with your clients, your hostesses, and your future team members and your team members. I can't tell Allie to call Michelle to do a coaching call with her. Although one day I will. That's the goal. All right. So those are things that you can't delegate. So what are some things you can delegate? Very simple. Labeling, printing off stuff. So I did a bunch of these party package things that took away time from me. Allie did the stickers. She did, she put the candy in for me. Once everything was printed and the way I wanted it, she put everything in. She made it all cute and sealed it up for me. I don't have to do that stuff, okay? Now, it also depends on how picky you are. Because when she was younger, I couldn't ever do certain things because she would put like the label upside down and in like a bar, or not that really matters, but I am picky about certain things. So you have to decide what you're picky about, what you're okay if it doesn't look centered or whatever. This is actually one that she did that was before I told her what I wanted. And I wanted it in the center. I wanted it here, but she put it there. Not a big deal at all. But I did tell her, actually, from moving forward, let's do it in the center. That was just my preference. Okay. So labeling catalogs. So a lot of you do mailers already. So, and you have figured out a system of getting things done well in advance, meaning like I know Michelle Cohen has like probably 3 months in advance her happy mail for her clients. So she's got like this awesome like little system with her with boxes, with September, August, September, October, totally organized. So what she does is she will go through is what do I want in those packages? So she will print out everything that she can print in advance. So it's all done. Okay. So that's what you want to do with like samples, is just knock out your samples. Okay. Can I have Allie do my samples? Yes. So she gets my samples done. Delegation, guys. What are other people capable of? Now, you might say, my husband's too lazy. My kids are too lazy. They want nothing to do with this. Well, incentivize them. Okay. My kids, I had a treasure box when they were really little with a bunch of dollar store toys. And when I told them, when you guys get all these bars labeled, you're going to go to the treasure box. If you got small ones, if you've got older ones, what body products do they want? What new warmer do they want? Maybe you can spare I don't know, $10 if, for your commission, saying, hey, if you do this for me, I'll give you $10 for an hour. That's $10 an hour. For a kid, that's actually really good. Whatever you wanted to negotiate. You just have to be creative, guys. Get creative. Now, your husband, I incentivized mine. When I needed him to be working and I didn't have an assistant to be doing all the busy stuff for me, I was like, if you're going to Disney World with me, or Cancun, or Greece, or all these places, guess what you're doing, buddy? You are labeling all my stuff and you're boxing everything, because this is a team effort here. If you're gonna go with me, you're gonna be working. That's just the way it was. And he's like, well, shoot, I don't want her going to Greece by herself, or asking her mom to go instead of me. So you bet your bottom dollar he was labeling and doing whatever he needed to do, setting up events for me. He even did parties for me when I needed him to. So you never know. Just figure out what inspires your dude. Okay. So delegation. Think about, what do I personally not have to do in my life? Now we're going to move into an even more sensitive area. The house, guys. I know that a lot of us women were either raised this way, or our spouses think that's the way it should be, or in our whatever, our brains, the way it's running is that, mom or wifey has to do everything in the house. That you got to clean, you got to cook, you got to do all this stuff. Well, here's the thing. That's before you owned your own business that is inside your home. Okay. So when you start to get your business going, you are the manager, you're the sales director, you're the marketing director, you're the everything, the team trainer, you're the business builder as far as building a team. You wear 1,000 different hats. So even if somebody owns a business, say your spouse owns a business, well, I get off at 5 and I leave my job. Well, guess what? You also have employees that do things for you, right? And if he doesn't, or she doesn't, whoever's listening, they are probably going to understand that because they're probably there about 12 hours a day, right? So they get it. So you have to remind them that this is actually a business. And so I'm going to be doing things here and there, after dinner, before dinner, sometimes, just to get things done. Okay. But the goal is to be working smarter, not harder, through these 4 Ds. And I know we're only on delegation, but this is the biggest one, you guys, because we have to learn to say no, and we have to learn to say yes to other things. Because when we're saying no to one thing, we're saying yes to another. When we're saying yes to one thing, we're saying no to another. And we have to decide what's going to be moving us towards our goals, okay, by saying yes or no. Because they both will in different situations. So who can put the dishes in the dishwasher? Who can start the marinade in the chicken? What, all those things. Who can, if you've got kids that can reach the laundry thing, get a stool and start teaching them how to do laundry. Because now you have a family business. We're actually in an incentive. This applies more than anything, is that we're all trying to get our whole family to Disney World right now. So it's not just mom and dad taking off to a trip right now. It's, I want to take you two with us. We don't want to go to Disney World without you, little ones. So this is how we're going to do it. You're going to learn how to do your socks, or your, how to do laundry. I promise you, you're not only helping your business, but you are helping these future adults to be independent. Because let me tell you guys something. People used to think I was a horrible mom. What, your kid makes their own breakfast? What, your kid packages their own lunch? Yeah, they do. Guess what? When I went through a life challenge, tragedy, that I couldn't even get out of bed, guess what? My kids were eating. Their clothes were clean. They were doing everything they need to do to get along with life, and they didn't need mom. Okay. So we don't want to teach our kids to absolutely live and die over what mom does, because what are we doing? We're disabling them. We're not helping them be independent, and we're definitely not helping them be independent adults for the future, because we're not going to be able to be there to make their bed for them, right? So these are all things that are going to be beneficial for your entire family in the future, not just for right now earning a Disney World trip, or to try to make some money during the summer, or whatever your goals are right now. You are literally teaching your kids independence, and you are going to thank yourself. You don't want your kids depending on you. And I know that's hard for moms to stomach because we all kind of want our kids to want us and need us. It's that maternal instinct in us. But let me tell you how great it feels. It even feels better when your kids don't need you. And so when you're able to give them time, it feels even better because you're choosing to, not because you have to. Okay, because they're not going to live, because they're not going to eat if you don't do something for them. I'm not saying stop cooking completely. I'm not saying stop doing your mom jobs, but this is the time to start teaching them so you can start freeing even 30 minutes of your day up that you would have been stuck folding their socks. Here's something that my family did when we joined Scentsy. Now, you decide, do with it as you will. How long does it take you to pair a load of socks? Takes you at least 30 minutes, right? If you've got a big old load of socks, finding all the, what we did, we cut all that out, and everybody's, if they were white, they get in one pile in a basket. If they were colors, they go in this pot, and then each person went and got their own socks, figured out what socks they were, and they decided whether they wanted to pair them or they just throw them in the drawer. And guess what? I threw them in the drawer probably for the first 5 years of my business because I didn't have time for 30 minutes of folding socks. That was taking away from my money-making activity, because folding socks does not pay the bills. Doing dishes does not pay the bills. Mopping the floor does not pay the bills, okay? Guess what? Now I pay somebody to do that for me. So that little sacrifice, which is paying off now. Not that my floor didn't get mopped or, dishes didn't get done. They just may have had to delay a little bit, which is our next D, delay. What can be delayed in your life each day, each week, each month? What are you putting as a priority that isn't a priority, that isn't putting you towards your goals, isn't making you money, and doesn't have a time-sensitive stamp? A lot of us, the majority of us, put everything we enjoy to do, that we like to do, that's our happy activity, we put that first, right? Because we enjoy doing it. But all the stuff we hate doing, we push it off and we push it off and we push it off, which is called delaying, which we'll get to in a second. So what are you doing that right now that doesn't need to be done? Okay, that can be delayed. Ask yourself. So for instance, you may have an event that, let's just pretend COVID isn't around right now. Let's say you had an event in the end of September. If you're prepping for your samples and all that stuff in the mindset that I'm doing this for my September event, that is not good. That's not smart. That's not, what's it called? Why am I blank? Working smart, right? You're not prioritizing correctly. You are literally working on September when you're in middle of August. So where are you prioritizing? What has a timestamp? What needs to be done? For instance, I had a timestamp today that I had to get my party packs out today for them to be the latest arrive in their boxes by Thursday afternoon, because I have a party with these people in Georgia at 8:30 their time at night. So even if they come a little bit late in the mail, they're going to get there well in time for 8:30. But if I didn't get them in the mail to go out today, it may have showed up the next day. It says Wednesday, it says 1 to 3 days, but if you know how mail is right now, I want to give that extra day to make sure it gets there exactly on that day. But if I was fiddling around doing stuff that that doesn't happen until the end of August, do you think I would have gotten that timestamp done? No, right? I wouldn't have got it. I wouldn't have effectively gotten followed through and made that timestamp. Okay, so delay. What can you delay that doesn't need to be done right now? A lot of you may be, going through your craft box of, oh, I was married 12 years ago and I never did my wedding craft book, and oh, I want to sit down and do this. So here's what I want. It's a disclaimer. Guys, this is your life. This is your business. You decide how you utilize your time. But if you're looking to make money with Scentsy right now and grow your business right now, then there are things that have to be delayed, and you have to figure out what needs to be a priority, pushed to a priority, which is going to be the diminished part. So if you're messing with your wedding book that should have been done 12 years ago, now is not the time. Right? If you have a goal to earn your incentive, to promote, to make a certain amount of money this month, all those things. And I'm literally, just remember, I'm talking to the people that are in the mindset of, I want to progress, I want to make money, and I want to earn a trip. Right now, not like, oh, one day would be nice. It'd be so cool if, by, 2013, 2023, I can earn a trip. If that's your time frame, then by all means, go for your wedding book. But if you have a timestamp of December 31st that you need to be, promoted to wherever you want to go and earning a trip, and maybe making a paycheck in that you're getting in September, a certain amount of money, then you need to be focusing on what is money making activity for your business right now. Okay. So that was just one example. All right. Delaying, just, what can you delay that in your life that doesn't need to be done right now? Now let's move on to diminish. What does need to be done right now? The example I just used, I had to diminish the task that was very, very time sensitive. So that's where I knew I had to start. I actually started on Friday, and then I did a little bit on Saturday, but then I realized where I was with the process. If I didn't start a little bit going on Sunday night, I wouldn't have been done by today, excuse me. So that's what I had to diminish. What is time sensitive for right now? Have you put your fall catalogs out? Because honestly, every day your people don't have one in hand, whether it's just clicking on the fall catalog, digital catalog from your website, which I recommend, because it literally takes off what's out of stock on the catalog, digital catalog. I think that's amazing. That is like, yes, it literally, I know, that is like, seriously. If it's out of stock, even if they're flipping the catalog, the digital catalog, it says out of stock. That is insane. That is better than a regular hard catalog, because they're never falling in love with something they can't get, at least right now. So I would suggest, in the digital age, COVID-19, what's going on, we're all doing everything virtual. I'm sure your clients and your pocketbook would appreciate you not sending catalogs and just digitally texting everybody that catalog. Facebook message them, text them, however you normally communicate with them. Get that digital catalog link from your website and send it off to them. Now, before they had that for us, we used the anyflip.com. We uploaded everything, but now we don't have to do that. And it's even better because Scentsy's taking care of that and doing the sold out stuff for us. So I would use that link, not the anyflip, if you can, because it's so much more better. And if they click on it, it's going to take them right to your website, you guys, which is insanely amazing. We have so many incredible tools if we're utilizing them. Okay, so that's an example. If you haven't got your fall catalog out and it is the 10th of August, to your clients, your people that buy from you normally, and even people that don't, because they may have been waiting for the fall catalog to come out. That is something that has to be on your list of priority that needs to be diminished. Okay. So if you have a client that has been saying, oh, I want to have a sample of whatever, and you've been lollygagging and it hasn't been, you haven't got it in the mail, you haven't put the sample together, you are giving yourself an opportunity to lose that sale. Because here's the thing, you guys, people, when it comes to buying I don't know the percentage, so I'm not going to try to pretend like I do, but I know the higher percentage of people are emotional buyers. So when they're interested in something, they want it now. If you delay, if they're like, ooh, I really want to try that counter clean that I see everybody with the, before and after pictures, and, I really want to have my little sample to see if I want to buy it, and you're delaying that instead of diminishing that, it's very likely they're going to move on to somebody else that gets them that sample and get it and then buy from them. Do we want that to happen? The reason why I know that is 100% true is because that's happened a million times. I'm the one that people move on to. Okay. I've had people say, yeah, I've asked this consultant, this consultant, this consultant, this consultant, and they've all don't respond, or they don't get back to them like in a decent amount of time, or they say, yeah, I'm not doing samples right now. And that's completely fine. You know what? Everybody's business is different. But if you're looking to grow your business right now, you have to take the business that's available to you right now. It's all about timing. You've got to jump on the opportunity the second it's available, because you don't know if they're emotionally going to be over it completely with the product, or they're going to move on to somebody that was on the ball. Okay. All right. So we did delegate, we did diminish and delay. Now we're going to talk about deleting. Deleting, that's the fourth one. What can you delete completely out of your life right now that is not serving you purpose, is not serving you at all to advance you and put you closer to your goals in life and to be a better you? What are things that are not advancing you? We can start with personal things. We can start with, are you like, I'm allergic. I found out recently I'm allergic to sugar, guys. That's why, have you guys noticed the last few Mondays I haven't been complaining about a headache? Because I've cut sugar out of my diet, and I haven't had a migraine since. So I needed to delete that out of my life in order for me to have the energy and the clarity and the health that I need to run this business and to run my life, my family, and have the time I need with them. That's an example for personal. Okay. Another personal thing is, are you one of those people that just don't know how to say no to people? So when they call you up and say, oh my gosh, can you go drive across town and pick up my kid? I'm running a little bit late. I really can appreciate this, but you have a timestamp schedule that you're running good, but now you have an 2-hour ride back and forth across town because you want to go pick up your friend's kid. Here's the thing, you guys. If it's going to push you away from your goals and move you forward and help you with your personal family's goals, then it's okay to say, I'm sorry, I'm not available. They're going to find somebody else. They're going to find a phone call. They're going to call somebody else that's either going to, pick them up for them, or they're going to connect with whoever they're with, their dance teacher or something, and they're going to wait with them. It's not an emergency. Now, if it's an emergency, that's one thing. That's why that's why our business is flexible, that we can drop everything and say, I got to go pick up this kid that nobody can go pick them up for them. That's the beauty. But are you saying yes because everybody knows you're going to say yes to everything that they ask you to do, and they know you're a pushover? Because that's why their lives are pushing forward towards their goals, getting things they need done, while they do everything else because they have help. Meanwhile, you are degressing and not getting the things done that you need to. So I always say two sides, guys. I'm always saying lead with a service heart, a loving heart. We want to serve people. We want to be able to add value to people, but we have to make sure that our needs are being met first. Because if our needs aren't being met, guess what's going to happen? We're going to be drained, and our lives are going to start falling apart slowly but surely. I'm sure you guys have heard the story of how to boil a frog. You put them in lukewarm water, doesn't even know they're in water, right? They just think, oh, I'm in the normal little river that I'm in or whatever. And then you slowly start to turn up the heat. And they're used to it. Just like when you get in cold water, eventually you start to get used to it. Well, you start to slowly turn up the heat, and they don't even realize that it's getting warmer. And you continue to turn it up, and before you know it, the frog is boiled because it doesn't even know to try to jump out because its body temperature is getting used to the heat. Okay, that's what happens in our lives, guys, when we don't pay attention and be careful with the world around us trying to, get in the way of our dreams. Because here's the thing, your dreams aren't important to other people. They think their life, their needs, their emergencies are more important. And they think that you should be the one that's helping them take care of those things. Okay. And so sometimes it's correct. Sometimes that's, you know, and a lot of the times it's correct, but not at the sake of your happiness and your progression. Okay. Because the people that truly do love you and care for you and want to see you happy are going to be okay with you saying, I would love to, but unfortunately, I just don't have an hour to squeeze right now. I have a very specific day planned. My time is very tight. And if I did 1 extra hour away from what I'm doing, I'm not going to get this done. Do you think, you guys, I would have got that done if I went off for an hour and went shopping or went across town to pick up somebody's kid? No. As much as my heart would have wanted to, I would have had to say no. Because guess what? I even got lucky, guys. The normal pickup time had already passed. I got there at 3. He usually comes at 2, and I didn't know that. And he said, you got lucky because there was so much. He's coming back at 5. I was like, oh, thank goodness. But that was just being lucky, right? So are you slowly boiling the frog? And are you the frog? By doing things in your life that aren't serving you and your dreams and your purpose and your business and your family. So again, that's why it's so hard. A lot of people, they either go this way or that way. It's very hard for them to kind of go in I call it harmony. I try not to say balance, because when you put more time here, guess what happens? This one suffers. If you put time here, this one suffers. So we want to do things in harmony in order to, like I said, you have a flexible business. You are the owner. You can say, Michelle, Cindy, Crystal, you're off right now because I got to be off right now. And you can say that because you're the boss. But then you have to be able to fluctuate and make up that time somewhere else. Right. So meanwhile, Saturday, I had some close friends, family. You guys know Becca and Terry, they're family to us. They were here for, in that morning. Well, I knew I wasn't going to be doing packaging when they were still here until they left. So I had to make sure I made up time a little bit later in the evening. And that's where that extra Sunday too came, the end of the Sunday. And so I had to have in my brain a plan. If I'm not using all day Saturday to get this done, where am I going to make up that time? So are you doing that? Are you thinking about that? Because when we start to forget about those things, we start to pile up, and then we feel overwhelmed. And then guess what happens? Screw it, I'm not doing it. Right? Does that sound familiar, guys? Okay, so those were personal deletions. What is going on in your business that is not serving you either? Some of you may be doing a bunch of mailers and you're getting no return. Let's evaluate that. Let's just use that as an example. 1, have you actually done follow-up on your mailing? Because if you're not doing follow-up on your mailing, you're only wasting money. Because here's the thing, when I get mail, even if it's fun and pretty and awesome like this, I will look at it, oh yay, oh, let me finish what I'm doing really fast and then I'll get to that. I got some cool little nail things in the mail the other day, because my friend is a consultant and I'm doing a little party for her. She had this cute little flamingo bag. It was all pretty and cute and I was all excited. I knew it was in it. But guess what? I had priorities in my life and in my business. So I put it aside, and guess what? I didn't open it till Sunday. And the only reason why I did is because I knew she was waiting for it. I probably would have put it off even further. So that's why, if you are on a timestamp that you want to get orders in August and you sent out stuff in July, if you haven't followed up, you're hurting your probability of somebody to actually order, because your little mailer or package or whatever you have could be under a stack of bills, magazines. Hubby could have put it over in the corner and you have no idea, and it's out of sight, out of mind. It doesn't mean they don't want to place an order. It doesn't mean they don't want to host that party or even join your team. It means out of sight, out of mind, other things in their lives are priority. I hate to say it to you guys and break it to you, but Scentsy isn't everybody's priority. I know, what? So we have to make it their priority by reminding them. We call because we care. We call because we care. We text because we care. We follow up because we care. It's not because we're pushy. It's not because we're, salespeople. It's because I mailed you something. I want to make sure you got it. Was there anything in there you were interested in? Because I'm closing an order tomorrow. And guess what? I just did that follow-up with somebody and she said, yes, I'm looking right now. I haven't looked yet. I will have an order by tonight because I told her I was closing an order tomorrow. I'm giving the sense of urgency. Like, look, lady, I need your order. Get with it. Pull it out of your stack of stuff. I know you have it. And the thing is, several times, not just several times, many times over the years, people have been like, oh my gosh, I don't even know if I got that. And then they text me or call me later saying, oh my gosh, it was in a stack of junk that I had no idea was there. So it happens all the time. I can honestly say my husband, my kids get a mail every day in different places and they put them in different places. So half the time I don't even know I have mail until like days later when I find it in a corner somewhere, even though I say, this is where you put the mail and they don't do it. All right. So those are things that we want to think about. So if you're doing all that though, you're doing the follow-up, you're doing the consistent mailers, and your people are just not having it and you're not getting sales, I think it may be time to reevaluate, right? Am I going to delete? Or am I going to fluctuate what I'm doing? Am I going to continue on with just my people that regularly buy? And they're not necessarily buying because of my mailers, but they're buying enough that they deserve my mailers. So those are things we have to think about, okay? Deleting, like I know Director Michelle Brooks, she told me early on in her business that doing samples, like wax samples, totally kills her joy. She hates it. Hates it. And so she had to figure out, because she was getting to a point that she didn't like that part of her business. She dreaded it. And so she wanted to keep her business happy. And so she deleted doing those samples out of her business for now, at least. Maybe when she gets an assistant later, she'll start that back up and delegate it. That's what I do. I delegate everything that I hate to do. And I keep all the happy stuff for myself. Like I loved doing these packages. I had a blast. I love it. I was like, this is why I love what I do. But I stopped doing those things for a while. I delegated them thinking that they were time consuming, which they were, but I also realized that I have fun doing them. So I wanted to do them myself again because they made me happy. But if they stop making me happy, I will delegate them back to my assistant because I'm not going to let anything kill my joy in my business, right? Another example of if we should delete, really fast, because this brings me to something I've been meaning to share with you guys. On that note of things that you hate and you have to delete, I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is one of my first, what month was this? See, September of 2011, you guys. This was my newsletter that I did, okay? I hated it. I hated every moment, you guys, putting this together. In the end, I was happy. It was cute. It was my little Scentsy warmer chick and putting everybody's new, this is welcome to the team, blah, blah, blah. And I hated it. That's all I can say. That's the only way I can put it. And I thought I had to do it to be a good director. I thought I had to. But then I realized, wait a minute, I can still do these things, but not in this format. I can post things to Facebook, and what you guys see I do weekly birthdays. I do, who promoted, who sponsored, what PRV, all that stuff. That I don't mind, right? But putting it all into like a template and entering it all in manually, I hated it. So I deleted it. And yes, did I think like, oh, people are going to think I don't care about them anymore or whatever, or it's not as cute, it's not as fun, it's not as formal or whatever? I had to swallow that and be, you know what? If people miss the newsletter, they're going to ask me why I deleted it, and they're going to know why I did it. Because if I kept doing this, I would have hated my business. every single month, I would have dreaded this part of my business. And so it's funny, I came across this. I don't even know where I found it. Anyways, so this is something I had to delete because I hated it. I dreaded it. So are there things in your business that you hate? If you hate it, then don't do it. Don't do it. Do not let what other people are doing that makes it look like, oh, they're a better consultant, they're a better sponsor, they're a better director, they're a better whatever the heck you think they are. No, it's likely they're doing it because it brings them joy and they're actually good at it. That's why it brings them joy. If they weren't good at it, they wouldn't do it. I'm not good at this crap, you guys. So it doesn't bring me joy. It doesn't mean I don't love everybody and don't want a cute little newsletter to email home every, month. That doesn't mean that. It means I am not serving you guys best, and I'm definitely not serving me best if I'm doing something that I absolutely loathe. Okay? Because it starts to weigh on you. My Tony Robbins program that I did, he talked about stacking. And stacking can be a good thing and a bad thing. So have you ever, like, out of nowhere just exploded on your spouse, like, I told you that's where it was, blah, or something, just out of nowhere? Never, Michelle, never, ever. You are such an awesome wife. So, so yeah. And you know where that comes from? It's because the behavior is being stacked. And you've asked them, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Please stop doing that. Please stop doing that. And they keep doing it. One day you're just like, ah! So it's a stacking behavior. And then you end up exploding and you're just not happy and you're not responding the way you would like to communicate with your spouse, your kids, whoever. And then there's also positive stacking. And positive stacking is something that's so important that we have to be doing, which is like showing up to calls consistently. We have to be adding value to ourselves. Even if we hear it 10 times in a week, eventually our brains start to go, oh, maybe this is something important that I should pay attention to. And then you end up maybe pushing yourself forward saying, oh, maybe I should do this in a good way. So you're stacking, do the 4 Ds, do the 4 Ds, do the 4 Ds, do the 4 Ds. And all of a sudden your time is going like crazy. You're like, wait a minute, why don't I just do the 4 Ds? Let me just see how it works. And then all of a sudden you did it for 1 week and you see your life just kind of transform. Like, I wasn't stressed. I knew exactly what was happening. I was managing my time wisely. Okay, one personal thing I have to share, the biggest deletion that I did in my business when I first started, and I still to an extent do it, but I'll tell you how I fluctuated into it now. And again, everything I say is it's your job, your business, your life, whatever. You're grown adults, you decide what you want to do. However, ask yourself how much time you're watching television. How much time is taking from your day? Because watching television is not making you money, right? If you were an actor, then it was making you money. So you have to be able to, and what I did when I first started, this was Jess's thing. Tuesday nights, I had my favorite show at the time. That was like, don't talk to me, don't call me on my phone at this time. This was my time with my family. We watch our show together. Tuesday nights, that was my relax, my time, enjoy my show. But on every other day of the week was no television, because I didn't have time to sit and watch something while I could be doing other things for my business. Whether I had a timestamp or not, I could be prepping. So when something pops into my life immediately out of nowhere, like somebody calls me the next day and says, can I have a basket party and can you drop it off tomorrow by work? I'd be ready for it. Because you have to think about that, guys. Just because you don't have something scheduled right now, somebody can literally call you 5 minutes from now and say, hey, I saw the new fall catalog came out. Do you have a bag party ready to go? Do you have all the things prepped, ready to go? If they want to do a Zoom party with you tomorrow or next week or whatever. So this is something I thought about when I was doing these party packs, is I need to make sure I have enough that if I get it, because I already have 2 people that said they want to book a party from this party. So I'm already prepping for if they decide to do their own party and they don't join, because both of them said they're interested in joining too, that I won't have to be taking all the time that I just did, because it's already prepped. And now one of the biggest advice that my sponsor's upline, her sponsor, told me, I went to visit her when I was getting ready for my launch party, and she gave me some warmers I wanted to show, like some military warmers, because back then we had them and I was a military wife on a military installation, so I wanted to show them. So she lent them to me, and she said, the best advice I can tell you is always have your next party prepped and ready to go, whether you have it booked or not. And that was the best advice I ever had, because as soon as I had my launch party, you guys, 3 days later, I had 9 bookings from that launch party. And my very first one wanted to do a home party 2 days later. And so because I was already prepared, I didn't freak out when she said it was a Friday night. She wanted to do a party on Sunday or Monday. I forget which day. It was like 2 days, maybe 3 days later. So if you're prepared, your business isn't going to be hard. It's not going to feel like you have to spend 3 days preparing for it like I just did, because I had nothing prepared. Because it's like starting a new business, a new type of business, because I've never done party packs before. I did clipboards for my home parties, but I never did it in this fashion. So, which I always had at least 10 to 15 ready to go at all times for home parties, even if I didn't have any parties on the books. Okay. So, and this is coming from somebody that owned her own business, a landscaping business, and worked like 6 to 9 hours depending on, but then she also had a full-time business, because she was a superstar consultant with Scentsy. So she had like 60 people on her team. She was a busy woman, and that's how she was able to do it, is that instead of waiting around to get her party booked, she got it prepped. So because she didn't know when she'd have time to prep, so when she had time, she took advantage of it. So for instance, oh, I don't have anything on my books, I have nothing really pressing, oh, let me go watch TV. Well, yeah, you can do that if you're prepping for your next party. You can be doing your clipboards, your party packs, whatever. All right. So I think I kind of hit the nail over the head with the 4 Ds and how important they are, right? But anyways, just to close that part up, is that I'm not saying don't watch television, enjoy your time with your family. Do it in moderacy. Everything is wonderful and good for you in moderacy. Just like eating ice cream, eat your ice cream, do it in moderacy. Don't have ice cream every single night, and I promise you, it's so much more enjoyable. Ice cream and television, whatever it is, because it's not just like you do it every day. So when you do it, it's like, oh my gosh, this is so nice. It's really a treat. It's not just a thing you do every day. So think about that. Now we're going to go over a little bit, because we haven't talked about money-making activity, and that's very important. So now that you know how to sit down, look at your calendar, all the things that you've got on it, and ask yourself, can this be deleted, delayed, diminished, or delegated? Okay. Look at your whole calendar, guys, everything that's on it, and put a D next to it. Is this delegation? Is this deleting? Is this diminishing? Or is this delaying? And if it's delayed, you can push it to the top of your list the next day. And if it doesn't get done, you just keep pushing it. But the only thing that can't be pushed and delayed are things that have the timestamp. Those have to be diminished. Okay. All right. So money-making activity. Anytime you are talking to people is money-making activity, you guys. You know why? Because without people and communication, you don't have a business. So in your calendar, are you booking actual intentional time to sit down, do your follow-ups, and actually book parties? Say, I'm going to spend 30 minutes. That's what's called a booking blitz, guys. We can do one on Zoom live together one day if you guys like, which I think is important. We should probably do. And it's nice to have other people doing it at the same time. You feel like you have support. We kind of cheer for each other when we get a party book, things like that. So we may just do that next Monday if we don't have a guest speaker. Intentional time that's scheduled, that you are literally booking in your calendar, a booking blitz, a time to sit down and book and just go through everybody you know and talk to them about booking a party. Going down your list, everybody that's ever bought from you, everybody that's ever booked with you prior, those are the people you start with because they've already partied with you, right? New catalog, it's time for them to party. I have somebody to contact right after this. She does a seasonal party and I'm gonna get her on the books. And then another intentional activity that has to be in your calendar is time to sit down and actually do joining conversations. Here's the absolute 100% truth, you guys, hands down. If any of us don't have new team members on our roster any month, I didn't last month, so I could be the example. It means we didn't have enough joint conversations. I didn't have enough joint conversations. I know I didn't. I did not. And so the people that you see that are pulling out, 1, 5, 15, whatever, every month, they are having endless amount of joint conversations every single day, every day. So, which is that's a lot. And it's really up to you. What are you willing to do? But if you could even say, I am going to talk to 3 people a day, 1 to 3 people a day, how many are you going to be talking to more than if you didn't do any intentional? So if you just did 1 a day, that's 30 joint conversations. 30, guys. Now, you guys, I can say, like, I don't ask you guys to do anything that I don't do or done before, consistently. And I'm the first person to call myself out when I'm not doing it. And I told you last month, I did not have those conversations. I didn't even have enough follow-up conversations. That's why I only sold like $1,200. I could have sold $2,000 if I had more conversations about selling. My mind and focus was somewhere else. That is my decision. But it's also something I have to live with, right? And that's the same thing with you guys. So if you don't have the results you're getting, you have to decide, is it because I made that decision or is it because I'm just not doing what I need to do, right? I did it because I know what needs to be done and I chose not to, which is not a good thing. I'm not saying it's okay. It's just that's the result. That's why I got the results I did, which was none. I didn't sponsor anybody. But when I was, and when I do, I sponsored 2 to 8 people a month. Haven't done that in a long time because that hasn't been my focus. But I can say that it can happen, and I've done it, and because I know what I was doing when I was getting those type of new people on my team. I was talking to people every day, all day long, about whoever I was talking to, whether they were just buying a product or talking about hosting. The joint conversation was always involved. And I'm now trying to do that as well. Okay. So, I'm only saying it because I know it works. And if we all are going to earn this trip together and all be in Disney World together and take pictures with Mickey Mouse, we all need to be making a priority to having joint conversations every single day, whether they're on Facebook, whether they're texting, whether they're over the phone, whether they're email. And remember that conversations doesn't mean that you're talking to them once. You're talking to these people 6 to 8 times and you're starting the conversation. You may talk to them all month long and have several conversations and they finally join at the end of the month. Or you might you've started talking to them in January and they finally join in September. You just don't know. But that's why you have to be talking every single day, all week long, all month long with people, because you just don't know when they're going to be ready and how many conversations it's going to take. Okay. And when I would sponsor like 8 people in a month, it's not because I was talking to all of them at the same time. I was talking to all these people for several months, and it was just that time that they were all happened to be ready. So I may not have sponsored 8 people the month before, I may have only sponsored 1, but does that make sense, guys? See how it kind of like, and then like it balances out. So like the average was like 3 people a month that I would sponsor in the first 5 years of my business, but some months were a lot more and some months were a little bit less. Okay, so money making activity is hands down just talking to people about your 3 opportunities. And that's because that's where follow-up comes from. Follow-up has to do with talking to people several times about the same thing. There's no way to get around it. I'm not going to say that there aren't those people that you talk to them about it and they just join off the bat. I've had those people, but they're a lot more rare than other people that you talk to several times because it just takes a while sometimes. Other money-making activity is anything that is, I mean, honestly, the core is always just the conversation. They say your business starts when your mouth is open. If you're not on the phone or in front of somebody, your business isn't running. That's just the way it is, guys. I'm sorry to say that, but that's just the way it is. And so when we're doing busy work, like all this, this is definitely going to lead to money-making activity, but doing these doesn't necessarily mean it's money-making activity. I'm actually spending money right now with the hopes that's going to get me to have conversations with booking and joining. So it's leading up to money-making activities. So it's prep work to money-making activity. So this can be, if it's utilized properly, you can spend all day, make it look pretty, print out everything, spend all kinds of money on these things, the packaging, everything. But if you're not going to put the work in afterwards, it's a waste of time. So for instance, I had everybody fill out the survey. I hope you guys all watched Christina Staybrook's video on this. It's amazing. She's freaking brilliant. But if we're not doing all the things that I kind of, during my experience, I realized little tiny details are so important. I forgot to ask them for their phone number. I get email, address, everything, you know, what their favorite fragrances are, what their, you know, are they interested in joining, hosting? Do they know anybody who wants to join the party? All these great things that I got this information. But when they, like 4 of them gave me their address, their street address, but no zip code or city. And when I put in the zip code in Google, like 5 different cities in Georgia showed up. And I'm like, great, I don't know which one it is. So I couldn't call them. So I had to go to, thank goodness, my really old time good friend and ask her, can you please tell me what their zip codes are? Because I don't have their phone number. So little tiny mistakes like that is just more time on my hand that I didn't have to do if I would have remembered to ask for a phone number. Duh, that's what we're trying to do, right? Is get our information. Another thing that was so important that I did is that as they filled out their survey, I put it into a sheet form, an Excel sheet form on Google Docs. And so I could see what all their answers are, but so then I can actually see what I want to put in each package, because depending on how they responded, I'm going to add different information, right? So these 2 gals that said a 5 and a 6 on hosting and joining, do you think I put join information inside here, like stories and, you know, income disclosure with earning potential and, you know, shooting star information? I mean, everything. I did a join packet in addition to everything else. So I made sure that I put notes on what I put in their packages. Okay. So this is kind of like doing all of the prep work. So when I sit down with them and go through that package with them, which has to be a step in my calendar because it could be easily forgotten, right, guys? I could put all this work in and then forget if they don't say anything after the party or when they're placing their order that they want to join or host. If I don't bring it up, they may not. So it's so important to intentionally put time in your calendar of when you're going to follow up with these specific hot leads, because this is considered a hot lead, these people, okay, on hosting and joining, which is why you should have a join list of your dream team and your people that are interested. And I think Melissa Henning shared on one of her training calls that she puts like what number they are next to their name of as far as hot to cold of how interested they are. Or she probably got it from someone else. I don't know, but I remember she mentioned it. And so you kind of know how hot they are, how interested they are. And then so when a join special pops up, if they didn't join when they were talking about it, that's the people that you go straight to. Because let me tell you guys, the more people you talk to, you're not going to remember everybody. You're going to think that, oh yeah, I remember that my friend this person and this person that. You're not going to remember if you don't have a list going of who you need to be contacting. And then those hot leads are going to end up becoming cold because too much time has gone by. It's already 15 minutes over. Is there anything off the top? Anybody want to share their money making activity thoughts before I go any further? Michelle, you got something?
I was just gonna say, I was doing this yesterday, and I don't know if it's money making right this second, but I've been getting a lot of PWS orders and just going through and making sure that they're all subscribed to the newsletter. Because I got the alert that the newsletter was going out, and I added so many people to the newsletter that I don't know. So, and then in my mailers, I put out, I printed out the Villains warmer and the Nightmare Before Christmas warmers, put the price and said, while supplies last, this is how much, and this is the day that they're available. So I already got pre-orders for those. Yes. So then, you know, so then that's kind of stuff that, and then I was thinking for like next month, just putting together pictures of like, hey, I know the holidays are coming up, blah, blah, blah. Have you ever thought about these gifts? And did you know that you can get them sent directly to people? Just, you know, do you know a new mom, or just like putting new things in there, because I think people are used to my mailers in a certain way. I've started adding recipes. I got people that are like, hey, I tried your recipe. It was really good. Cool.
That's awesome.
You know? But just little things, you know, just to kind of stand out and to say, hey, you know, do you know somebody that needs some cheering up? Do you know somebody, you know, a new mom that needs to take a bath? Like, this is my, like, because Cozy Cardigan is like my favorite fall like scent. Yay. And everything came out in it. So like, I'm gonna take, you know, get that and say, this is my absolute favorite. Do you need, you know, somebody that wants to be pampering? Hey, have you ever thought about hosting a spa party? I will send everybody samples and you can all soak your feet together and we'll Zoom or something, you know, something like that. So I've just kind of been, every time I have an idea, I write it down. And like you said, it's like, if it's not bringing in money, then don't do it. Or like, how did that work out? And kind of gauge it, you know, give it a few months and like, you know, being on their face and people ordering or reaching out or whatever. So just things like that where I'm like, what can I do to add value? Because I do love making samples and people know my purple envelope. So I would say stand out, you know, like if your favorite color is like Melissa Signaro, her favorite color is yellow, you know, like this is my favorite color, it cheers me up, you think of me, you know, what's your favorite color or whatever. So things like that where, you know.
And that's, you're making money because you're literally showing them products that are coming out and you're getting them excited. So that's, I mean, anything that's going to get people excited and desiring your products is money making activity, because you're getting fragrance under their noses by your samples. You're getting, now, okay. And when I talked about, you know, somebody deleting samples out of their business, you know, is that also possibly hurting because the fragrance isn't getting under their nose as much? Probably, but I will tell you that Michelle compensates in a different way. She is very close with connection, and follow-up is like her jam. Obviously, you guys know she sells over $2,000 every single month in her entire over 4 years of career. And so you just have to be able to say, okay, if I'm not going to do one thing that is known to basically sell the product, is because our product, the scent is what sells. So if we're not getting scent under people's noses, then we have to figure out a really creative way that's going to add value, like Michelle Cohen just said, to our people. And you'll hear a lot in different trainings with Scentsy consultants, with other types of just business, that you have to create raving fans, meaning that people rave about you. That you make them feel that they make them feel special. You make them feel like, oh my gosh, I'm the only customer they have because they treat me so well. And that is going to make you money, because guess what's going to happen? You're going to start getting referrals, and referrals are the best compliment you can get in your business. The best. The reason why is because people don't refer you to people if they don't trust you, like you, and respect the way you do business. Okay. So when you have those three things going on, they trust you because they know you're going to follow through with what you're doing. Because here's the thing, there are consultants out there, guys, that take orders and then don't place the order and don't give people their money back. I know, makes you want to like fall off your chair, right? But that's why sometimes it's harder for us to gain the trust. So we have to be willing to put that extra time in to show them and prove them, no, I'm a professional. I'm not going anywhere. And this is my business. This isn't just a side thing that I'm happy to get money. And, you know, if I decide to stop selling, I'm not going to give you your money back, whatever mindset these people have. But, and then they know, meaning how do people get to know you? You make sure that you keep connecting.
I was going to say consistency.
Yes. Consistency is huge, because if you're popping in something in the mail once a year, that's not going to, it's like, oh, that's great. And they forget about it. And then you're not following up because you're not doing consistently. So you're not thinking to follow up. So it's not leaving an impact in their minds, or in their, you know, giving them an emotion. It may have been like a 5-second, oh, that's cute, something in the mail. But if there's no consistency, just like it takes us, you know, 6 to 8 times to hear the same thing over and over again for us to actually do it. It's the same thing with a customer, that they have to see something over and over and over again, or hear it over and over and over again before they actually go, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I gained one of the online people. She said, I used to buy from my really good friend, but she would never like keep her in the loop. And her husband's like, you have to stick with this person. She keeps on sending you stuff.
Oh, see?
And her husband was like, she's like, I have to buy from you. He said, you put all this time and energy. And I was like, oh, okay.
See,
you know, exactly. And she's a realtor. So then every time things come up, I'm like, hey, this would be really good. Hey, blah, 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 you know, but it's just funny that her husband was like, you need to, she's like,
and
she didn't want to tell me. She's like, I have to just tell you that my really good friend is a consultant. And I was like, oh,
believe me, I've heard it a million times. It's crazy. It blows our minds. Like, wait a minute. Because, okay, that's why people get confused. Because, yes, the majority of people are going to do business with people that they already have a relationship with, which is their friend, which is their sister, their mom, whoever it is that they already know. But people also want good customer care. And eventually, you guys have heard me say this probably on a Monday call a million times, but I'll say it again, that somebody flat out told Mitch, we can't buy from you because my wife's best friend is a Scentsy consultant. And months later, she was trying to get a BOGO deal and a buddy deal, and at 11:30 at night finally calls me saying, I need these buddies. And she's like, I've been begging my friend to place this order all month. And then she closed her last order without me and said, sorry, it's too late. Guess what? That was in 2012. She's still my client to this day. She's still friends with her friend, and who does Scentsy still, but she doesn't buy from her. She buys from me. And she signed up for Scentsy Club with me. So you have to remember that, yes, even if your sister is your sister and you're the consultant, generally, yeah, they're going to support you here and there. But if you're not doing good customer care, they're not going to support you. They're going to get it from somebody that's going to make sure that they can get it from when they need it. So that's a great example, Michelle. You're gaining raving fans by giving good customer care, which most people don't. So yes, any way that you can market your products that's going to make people desire them and create that sense of urgency as far as I want to be on your pre-order list. I want to place that order is going to be money-making activity. So scheduling, posts that is, time with marketing. Marketing is money-making activity as long as you're doing it intentionally. And what Michelle said, consistently. Because then they expect to know, they expect to see what's going to be happening with Scentsy, and then they start to get a regular flow of how they do business with you. They know that you're going to tell them what's going on, and they're going to need new stuff every now and then. And so that's how you're going to continuously get your PRV, which everybody needs. No matter how high you go up, you still need your PRV. So you do need raving fans that are just buying from you as well. But we also just can't make the mistake of not having the host and join conversations just because they're raving fans as far as buying products. Raving fans buying products are your biggest and most highest potential hostesses and consultants if you give them the opportunity and make them aware of that. The only reason why they're not hosting and joining with us is when we're not talking about it, literally. But then there's going to be those people that we need, that we give them the conversations, we lay on the line what's available to them, and they still don't take it and they just want to buy. Fine, great. But you don't want to miss out on your next rock star in your business because you just didn't have that conversation. Because here's the thing, guys, you don't want to feel the first time that happens. It happened to me twice. I'm glad it's only 2 times in 9 years, but too many times, is I didn't have enough conversations with one person. It's not that I didn't have them. I want you guys to know that. It's not that I didn't have the joint conversation. It's I didn't consistently follow up with them about it. And so when I finally followed up with them months later, they had already joined somebody else's team in a new place they just moved, and just was like, oh, I just joined somebody that lived down the street. I saw her car decal. And I'm like, what? It's because I knew she was moving and I figured I'll let her get settled. And because I didn't follow up on a normal, consistent basis like I did when she lived here, she ended up joining Scentsy anyways, and not with me. And it happened one other time, and I can't remember what it was about, but it definitely didn't feel good. So it doesn't necessarily mean you haven't talked about it. You just haven't had the conversation enough. And so think about that. But it's definitely not going to happen if you aren't having the conversation at all. So before we close it up, anybody else have any money-making activities you want to add? I will add one thing as far as a leadership position is investing in your team as far as recognition. I'm not saying you have to be mailing things, buying things. You can literally send a text message, a post on Facebook, a phone call, whatever, but investing in just letting people know that they're valued and that you see what they're doing. And spending time with them, even if it's just to go have a coffee with them or whatever you drink or whatever, whatever you do, go have breakfast, just to create a rapport and a relationship. If you don't know them prior to Scentsy, putting that time in is definitely money-making activity. The reason why is because every human being desires recognition of just being a person. Just, hi, that I'm alive. I'm on your team. That you feel that I'm worthy of your time. That's huge. Guess what that's going to do? That's going to motivate them to want to be a better them and do better in their business. And if they're in your downline, you're going to eventually be making some money off them, right? If they're doing well. And that's why you putting time into them is going to end up, that's why you get paid, is because it's not guaranteed. But that's why sponsoring bonuses are there, is because we put time into people just by helping them on an emotional level. Some people are great in their business. They don't need any. Cindy and Michelle are perfect examples. They're both my frontline. We don't necessarily talk strategy every time we talk about business. Our relationships are what we, on my end and their end, is what we really need. And then the fact that we are doing the same thing and have the same goals, it helps. So we do have the conversations, but it doesn't always have to be just Scentsy talk. Do you know what I mean? And then if they feel valued and they feel lifted up, it's just going to do good for everybody, because you feel good that you see a growth in them and a happiness in them. That's like priceless. But then the way the compensation plan works is that they're doing great in their lives and in their business. Guess what happens, guys? It helps your business. So it's a subject that people don't like to talk about because it's like Melissa Henning always says, it feels icky because you don't want people to think that you're like spending time with them or giving them kudos because you're trying to make money from them, because is icky. But in reality, that's just the way the business goes, guys. If we don't want to recognize that, then we're not going to make money. And that's where you really make your money, is your downline. I'd be doing a disservice of you guys by not telling you that, because my downline can never oversee what I sell every month. I'm sorry, Michelle, go ahead.
No, Nina posted, oh my God, how much more a superstar consultant makes than a star consultant on her Facebook. And I was like,
yes,
true, and when she promoted, like, I've seen a shift, she's like a little bit more, I was like, okay, girl. So I started printing these out for my, so this one, because I just got somebody that joined, that found me on my PWS.
Yes.
So this is like this is where you're at. Here's your promotion. So I'm going to send these out to everybody, not just my downline, but everybody, under them, because I don't think people realize how close they are.
That's so true. That's so true.
Because I was like, shoot. So Nina posted and I was like, well, let me go look at that. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. Like I knew that, but I never like looked at it, So I was like, okay, all right, goals.
Yes. And that's the thing. Becca and I were just talking about this the other day, is that people don't talk about money enough in this business. And it's because society makes us think it's icky and it's evil and it's all these things. But here's the thing, guys, bottom line, money gives you resources and you're able to give more. Like when I make more money, when I make bigger checks, guess what? I get to spoil you guys more. I get to buy more little gifts and more postcards. Like when I got a bonus that wasn't expected, that's when I spent, $100 in postcards, just sending you guys, just saying that we're all in this together and I love you guys. It's not because I was like, oh, let me go spend money on my hair and that I did, an extra $100 on my nails or whatever. I want to pour more into you guys. And that's what you get to do, is when you make more money, you get to donate to your favorite cause more, like Cindy does. And, and I all of you guys do. I'm sure there's something that you guys like to feed into and to contribute to. And
there's
think about it that way.
Huh? Nina just joined us.
Oh yeah, hi Nina. Yeah, like Nina's big on fundraising too. So like, it doesn't, how often would you do a booking blitz? I would do it every month, you guys, every month.
Okay.
That's what, and it's, I'm telling you guys right now, I am committing to doing the things I did to build my business again, because I'm at the point that I want another level. Like even though I'm at the top title and compensation possibility, there's a whole other world out there of financial gain that I can receive. And now I know it's a clarity. I want to be able to give more. That's my mission. And here's the thing, guys, if I'm making more money, that means all of you are making more money. And that is my goal. I want you guys to be making more money and having more resources to do what you need to do in your lives. Because I'm just fine. Like Mel Robbins says, the F word, I'm just fine. I make plenty of money. I have everything I need. But if I'm not making more money, that means you guys aren't. So I can't stop working and stop growing it, because then that is going to do the same. That means that you guys are going to too, right?
She said her phone died. Can we talk about Tourniquet?
Okay.
That Bree Wallace on our SFR, her Tourniquet breakdown is genius. And holy cow, like I want to play it, record it, and like put it on my group page, but I don't know if that's like ethical. Is it?
Yeah, no, I think it's fine. They're going to be posting it to the group page. To the workstation anyway.
She breaks it down, and this girl, she's a teacher from a small town that just paid off her student loans, and all with this. It's so simple. Like I watched it like 3 times. So it's like every time you're closing a party, all you need is $1 in your product host product, whatever, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
$1 to flip and earn a kit. $1. So you can keep your $19 or whatever, but she breaks it down to like a $200 party, a $350 party, a $500 party. And
That's
and
awesome. I'd love to
she
watch
does
that.
a phenomenal job of breaking it down and why she always reaches out to people when she's closing a party, because it's like, you don't know, back to like giving back, you don't know like what people are going through. You don't know what blessing this could be for them. And it stinks, but it's like, I've been in almost 4 years and it's taken me this long to, like, I knew the potential, but it's just like something like some other light bulb in my head went on, where I'm like, I never thought about it that way, or I never, there's like all these little things where I was like, oh, so there's been definitely a shift with watching these this SFR virtually, because you're able to really delve into what they're saying.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like Lindsay Bates, is it?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
When she spoke at SFR last time, what she was saying honestly was like way over my head, because she was talking like thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Where I was like, huh? Like, I'm never gonna be that. And it sounded phenomenal, like, sure, but it was so much that I was just like, okay, I don't even know how to handle this right now.
Process it, yeah.
But Bree does a really good job of like, if you have a $200 party, $350 and a $500, and these are the conversations. And if they don't want it, then this is you have 2 options. So she starts with, you have a $200 party. I mean, watch the video. I'm not doing it justice at all.
Bree,
but
what? Cats? So you said Bree who?
Bree Wallace.
Wallace. Okay.
But she does a really good job, and she starts with the, you earned, congratulations, here you have a qualifying party, yada yada yada, and here's your 2 options. You can join for, and then she has her little script, and I wrote down the script, paused, wrote down the script, join, conversation. Here's your 2 options. Join for this much, this is what you get. And then she told them, this is how much commission you're going to get. So you join for $39, you're going to get a commission of $40 next month on the 10th. And she has that whole conversation. Or you can get $20 in free product, 1/2 off, and that's it. Which one would you like? The way she presents it is freaking genius.
So here's the thing.
Like,
we all have to have some type of a formula that you do every single time you're with a hostess. And it has to be consistent. And the more you do it like that, like that's her script, that's her formula, that's her ritual. It comes out more naturally, and it comes out more confidently. And so when I'm closing and starting any hostess party, I lay out all that prior, because I want them thinking about joining while their party's going on. So, and here's my ritual, and this was before this whole host a kit, flipping the thing. We did the old school way, is that the only way we can flip is that we would have them join, and then we put all the orders into their party. And so what my ritual was, and this is how I've had a shift. And I'll be honest with you, it's just still, because I've done it that way for so long. I've had this program and it's worked for so long that I've had to learn, and I'm still trying to learn to remember that we have this kit that even if your hostess doesn't want it, that you can give it to somebody else. That is like
to
so
anybody,
huge.
right?
Yes, and that's but you have to you can program yourself that this is part of your ritual. That you don't veer away from that, because when you veer away from it, you're giving away a kit for that you had an opportunity to join your business. And so what I used to say, and I could still say to this day, well, not right now, because they are letting you attach parties to orders to they are letting you give their online orders to the hostess if they join. they normally don't, but they are
Right. Okay.
right now because of COVID. And so what I used to say to kind of get them thinking a little bit more, and I'll do that again when COVID's not around, is I'll say, so here's the thing. Most consultants, I mean, most of my hostesses, they see how many people that actually know Scentsy and buy Scentsy. And they realize that, well, wait a minute, when they need to reorder, they're going to be reordering from me instead of them. And they could be making money off of their own friends, their own family. And so I talk like in a second person or a third person, like the story of somebody else, so they can be thinking about it as, oh, that might be me, but they don't have the fear of the commitment of thinking about it. Does that make sense? So I'm talking to them about, this is in general, the scenario of what the average hostess goes through. So I like to lay it on the line, let you know what your options are. Now, if you decide to join at the end of this party, which you very well may do, see how confident I say that? I don't say, well, if you decide to join. I say, if you decide to join, which you very well may do, the only thing is I want you to know right now is that I can't give you the orders that are online. So so they're already like, oh, well then, and I've had people literally go, well, then maybe we should wait for me to do an online thing. And then if I decide to join, I can ask all those people. And so they're already strategizing in their head, like, well, wait a minute, I don't want to lose those orders. And
you have you get some buy-in. Yeah.
Yes. And so, but right now, what I'm saying is, they normally don't, but the cool thing is that I can. So if you have, and it's helping the couple people that have done it in the last couple months that have joined and I've given them their parties, they've had over $500 parties because of their online and their ones that they've collected as well. Mm-hmm. And so what you're doing, exactly what Michelle just said, is that they're buying into the idea of becoming consultants, and they're almost like fearing, oh, well, I don't want to get, my business away because this is my family, my friends, and you know what I mean? And so they get kind of protective about it. And then they start to think about it. So by the time the party's closing, they've already pretty much decided. And then what Michelle just shared about putting that stamp on is that when I close this party, this is how much money I'm making off of it. And this is how much money you would make. And the difference is because of, and I explained, once you hit 1,000, you bump up to 25. You're starting at 20. But here's the thing. We're closing your party right now at $500. Do you think you could do another 500 when you just did it in 1 or 2 days? Probably, right? So if we get you to 1,000 by the end of this month, you're going to get the same commission that I would have gotten. And then this is the big key, guys. You're paying yourself back for the money you just invested. The biggest fear that consultants have, or hostesses have before they join, is the investment, because they fear of failing. So if they know they can get their money back fast, they're more willing to work hard and actually make that party do well, because they don't want to either the fear of my husband saying I'm spending the money and I'm not going to do anything, or their own fear of failure for themselves. And maybe they're tight with money and they're like, oh, I can't rationalize spending, $99 or $59 or whatever. But if I can say I could pay myself back in the first month, and then everything else I sell after is just bonus, that's the way I lay it out. As I say, if you sell this, if that's all you sell, you're going to make your money back in the first month. But anything else you do after that is all in your pocket. And sometimes people need a visual, guys. So I will put it on the calculator and show them how much money they will make off that order, so they can visually see it, that you just made $99 or $120 off of this party or whatever it is. And then, or if they're not quite there, I'll say, look, how much you've already made. Can you imagine if you just kept going the rest of this month, how much money you could make? And they're like, oh. So visual, you guys will be surprised how many people that the visual thing is the kicker. If we just talk about it all day.
You just gave me an idea. So I'm going to message all my VIP people, tell them I'm doing a bingo party on Wednesday, private message them and say I'm going to do mystery hostess. Mm-hmm. And then I'll just, go from there.
Yeah.
Hold me to it. Hold me to it.
Absolutely. I'm putting it in my calendar to follow through with that.
My husband isn't home, so I have nobody to bug me. So I have the time to do it.
So
Sad.
So and then make sure that you show them how much money you're making off the order. So there's these little cards, postcards that I have in our files in our in the Angels what's it called? Google Drive, as well as in our files in the Angels Saving Lives page on Facebook. There's a thank you for your order. Your hostess earned this much free credit. And if you were the consultant, you would have made this much money off of it. So I'll put those in every single order so people can have that visual. And I've had people actually, you know, when I call them to follow up with their products and say, you know, I'll say, did you see that, you know, how much your hostess made on the, as far as host credit and how much they would have made if they were a consultant? That's a conversation starter. And if they're interested at all, they'll be like, and I've had people say like, yeah, like how would she have made that much money? And it's weird that people don't even comprehend that we make money, guys. Like, I'm like, why would I be doing this if I'm not making any money? Like, they think we just get for free stuff, which we do, but we also get paid.
Right.
So they need to know that, you know, if, and then I'll even say, when I do my own parties, see all that free credit, that's mine. That's how I get all my stuff for free. And then see that commission I just showed you? That's mine. And that is something that people need to see. So we have a huge opportunity with Facebook Lives now and Zooms that we can get people on. And what you just said, Michelle, like get people on a Zoom that like a bingo. And so people can actually be on live with you if you can get them on. It's so much easier. And then you can have these conversations like you're in the home and doing this, these type of parties. Neen says, I was one of the flip parties way back when, upgraded to the 99 join kit instead of the 49. Yeah, so I laid it out for her before she even started her party. Everything that this is the situation, you know, if you decide to join, the kit is $99. Or right now it's 49, but you also, and that's the thing, I learned this from when Michelle Brooks joined. Nina joined like a couple weeks later, so I learned and I was able to tell her that I wasn't used to having a $49 kit, so I was trying to promote the $49 kit.
It was a $49 kit month, and I'm like, I want the 99. I want more stuff.
Yes, but I got to share that with Michelle, and even though when she went to join, there's a drop down that she could have clicked that said 99, and she could have said, what's the 99.9 about? Yeah. But because I put it in her brain, $49, that's all she looked for. And so she joined for 49. And then later on, she wished, she was like, well, shoot, if I would have known how much came in the $99 kit, I would have gotten that. So I felt bad, but she realizes that I was human. You know, I am human. I'm always going to be human. But it was a lesson learned for me. So make sure you're not only offering the $59 host kit. Let them know the difference. Say, this is, if money's tight, you've got this, and it even can be less if you use it towards your host credit. Right. But if you're able to do the $99, I would do the $99 because it's so much better for the value. And if you do it with confidence like that, they're going to be like, oh, okay. And, you know, if money isn't really, but if it's an issue, then they're going to take advantage of the kit, which is awesome. But you just don't want people, if they really want to do well, you want them to have as many tools as possible. And obviously the $99 has that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I am so grateful for all of you that hung in. I hope that, again, I'm sure there's a lot more money-making activities that that you could be doing that we didn't talk about. I will probably, since I'll have a little bit more time to think about it, I will think up a list of what money-making activity is, and I'll write it and I'll put it in the Google Docs as well as our Facebook page on the units. And so you guys can have a list and things you guys can kind of look at. What am I doing? Am I utilizing my time wisely and doing money-making activity? And because it's hard to do it if you don't know what money-making activity is, right? So I hope that this was helpful, but I really hope that you start with organizing your life and your day with the 4Ds, honestly, no matter what you apply it to, whether it's your day job, whether it's your family life and cleaning your house and all of that stuff. little things, like I said, I deleted folding socks. I didn't stop cleaning my socks, but I deleted folding my socks to give me 30 minutes that I didn't have prior. And now I have the time. I sit and I enjoy folding socks now because I didn't do it before. So it's funny how, you know, they always say you sacrifice for a little amount of time so you could be living the life that people only dream of for the rest of your life. And so when I think about that, it's very emotional for me because I do things that people wish that they could do. I mean, I literally took 2 full vacations, 2 weeks long in a month because I wanted to, and I didn't have to ask anybody. I didn't have to, you know, worry about losing my job. I didn't have to worry about not getting a paycheck. It's little, but it's huge for freedom. That I could literally, my friend can just say, come spend the week with me. Okay. You know, a lot of people can't do that. So, but that's what you're working towards, is you're able to give yourself that option to have that freedom. It doesn't mean you're going to, you may never want to do Scentsy full time. I don't know, but you're giving yourself permission and the ability to be able to and decide for yourself, not because somebody's telling you you can't. All right. I love you all so much. And I hope that you are also plugging into the Super Saturday calls. And remember, I do a raffle every week too for this call. So if you email me your 8 takeaways, you will be put into a raffle for little happy mail. So please do so. And it's, remember that when you write things down and you kind of regurgitate what you learned and you put it out there again, it just helps it kind of sink in a little bit more, and it helps you make a plan for what you're going to be doing in your day, in your life, in your business.
Happy early birthday.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm what? Let's see, it's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm 39 for 5 more hours, guys. I'm in my 30s for 5 more hours.
40s are great. 40s are great.
I hear that all the time, so I am excited.
Fabulous 40s.
Fabulous 40s.
All right, everyone. I will see you soon.
Bye, ladies.
Bye, Jess.
Love you
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.